We often think of rock as hard, brittle material. Throw a rock hard enough on the ground and it will likely break into pieces. But under the right conditions, rock can actually flow in a way that keeps it from breaking. When rock deforms in such a way that it bends instead of breaking, we call this a fold. Folds come from pressure on rocks that occur over very long periods of time, think millions of years. So instead of a quick action like throwing the rock on the ground, it's more like standing on it for millions of years until the pressure is finally enough that it changes shape. Folds are created in rock when they experience compressional stress. This is when the rock is being pushed inward from both sides. This is like if you put a spring between your hands and push them together. As you push, you're compressing the spring, and rock can be compressed in the same way over long periods of time. There are different types of folds created by compressional stress depending on which way the rock bends. An anticline is a fold that arches up as both sides of the rock are pushed inward. You can remember that the anticline creates this type of fold because the arch looks like an A for anticline. A syncline is a fold that sinks down as both sides of the rock are pushed inward. You can remember that a syncline creates this type of fold because the fold sinks downward, which sounds like syncline. A monocline is a fold where the rock layers form an S shape as the sides of the rock are compressed. You can remember this type of fold because all the layers of rock are still horizontal, going in one direction instead of bending vertically upward or downward like anticlines and synclines. And since mono means one, monoclines are layers in only one direction. We also have domes, which are like anticlines, but instead of an arch, the fold is in a dome shape, like an inverted bowl. Similarly, there are also basins, which are like synclines, but again, instead of a sinking arch, the fold is in a shape of a bowl, sinking down into the ground. Not only do folds come in different shapes, but they also form at different angles. Symmetrical folds are folds with the same angle. This makes sense, since symmetry means the same on both sides. We can also have the reverse of symmetrical, which occur in asymmetrical folds, or folds with different angles. Isoclinal folds are similar to symmetrical folds, but these folds both have the same angle and are parallel to each other. Iso means the same, symmetrical, and cline means angle, so this name literally means same angle. So isoclinal folds are both symmetrical and aligned in a parallel fashion. Overturned folds occur when the folding is so intense that the fold appears to have turned over on itself. Similarly, we can have recumbent folds, which are even more extreme than overturned folds. These are folds that are nearly horizontal. Recumbent means lying down, so you could think of this fold as lying down sideways. Finally, we have chevron folds, which are folds in a zigzag pattern. The angles of the folds are shaped like chevrons, and instead of slowly curving, the edges are sharp and straight. Folds, which occur when rock deforms in such a way that it bends instead of breaking, come in all shapes and sizes. An anticline is a fold that creates an arch. This arch looks like an A, which is the same letter that anticline begins with. The reverse, a syncline, is a fold that sinks down. Syncline and sync both start with sync to help you remember this one. A monocline is a fold that creates an S shape. Mono means one, and this type of fold lives up to its name since all the rock layers stay layered in one horizontal direction. A dome is a fold that creates a dome shape in the ground, similar to an anticline but sort of circular instead of an arch. A basin, the reverse of a dome, is a fold that creates a bowl shape in the ground, similar to a syncline but again circular instead of an upside-down arch. Folds can also be classified based on their angle. Symmetrical folds are folds that have the same angle, and asymmetrical folds are folds that do not have the same angle. This makes sense since symmetrical means same and asymmetrical means not the same. Isoclinal folds are folds that are both symmetrical and parallel. These folds not only have the same angle, but are vertically aligned in a parallel orientation. An overturned fold is a fold that appears to have turned over on itself, just as the name implies. A recumbent fold takes this one step further and is a fold that is nearly horizontal. Recumbent means lying down. And finally, we have chevron folds, which are folds in a zigzag pattern. These folds are shaped just like chevrons, which is how they got their name. Instead of being rounded, these unique features have sharp edges and straight lines.